Okay, let's jump into it. We're going to start talking about predictability. Who loves the idea of predictability? I mean, don't you like knowing that when you walk in this room, people are generally happy? What if when you walked in this room, people were angry and you weren't sure when something was going to be thrown at you? Would it change the way you felt about coming down here, right? Well, I find that predictability changes the way I feel about my business and my opportunity. You know, if I actually create something that and realize that it's predictable, if I actually use principles that are good, sound business principles and treat my business like a business, I really enjoy it a lot more. Has anybody ever tried doing something wrong for a long time and been really miserable? Anybody honest here? Has anybody ever went to the weight room and you just did all the wrong form, but you wouldn't take coaching because you wanted to look like you knew what you were doing? Not you. Did you see that other person do that? And how they couldn't come back the next week because they ripped themselves up. Their back is totally gone. They have all these injuries from doing the wrong form. You know what? We do this here, right? We do this here. We get launched in business, and then a lot of times we think we know what we're doing. We're like, I got this. And we end up hurting our back. We end up hurting ourselves. And so I want to talk to you about really launching properly and creating a predictable system for yourself, okay? This is just based on what I've learned and principles that I've learned by doing it wrong a lot. I have been injured in the gym a lot. And you know what? I decided to start listening. I decided to start getting coaching, and I started to start applying that to my business. So predictability and profitability, those are big deals in business. The more that comes in earlier, the more we know that's going to be there, the more free we are to be creative in our minds the rest of the month. And so you guys know this. VCS is one of my things that I'm really big on because I was so scared of selling early on. It was just such a huge fear for me. I didn't like looking like the person that had something for you to buy. I didn't want to look like the person that needed you to buy. I didn't want to be the product person. Honestly, it was just a lot of pride and arrogance, and I cared way too much about what people thought. But I really care about this part of our business. I really care about it because I'm finding that that's where I really learned a lot of my leadership skills. By really understanding how to start and lead conversations around product and around VCS, around people becoming a client. When I learned how to start and lead conversations around that, everything started to change because there's only 2 skills. But ultimately, what's the one skill? What's the one skill? Thank you very much. Y'all are listening, 3 of you. Chase, if he got up here and did some more interpretive dance, I know more of you guys would have responded. But starting and leading conversations, that is really the one skill that feeds both skills. And I found that by building my leadership and building that skill set to start and lead conversations, learning to ask good questions and uncovering needs in people, that by doing that on this side of my business, it just made me better on the other side. And it's so much fun to practice here because really there's not that much to lose. Do you know what I mean? Like if someone doesn't have a need, okay. But honestly, on the other side of my business, the sponsoring side, is it really any different? Is there anything to lose to find out if somebody's hungry or open or wanting more? Is there anything to lose? Other than being misunderstood and feeling kind of wimpy when there's a rejection, right? But there's nothing to lose. And so I just encourage you, if you want to build your leadership, if you want to build the example of what you're going to be in your team, this is a great place to do it. And I'm very convicted about that. So here's what I want to ask you. What do you want other people on your team to be confident they can do? Hunter and I asked ourselves that, and we realized we called it our blueprint. Whatever we did, we knew we could teach other people to do. So we decided 300 PV. You know why? Because in our situation, being busted and broken, being, hurting financially, we knew we had to sell. And we knew if we could find a way to create a 300 PV personal circle where the majority, I'm talking more than 75%, was actually sold, then we would have the profit to build our business and fund it. And we could teach anybody, no matter their life circumstances, how to do the same. Meaning their financial status would not determine their success in their business. Is that powerful? Yes, it is. And so I would encourage you, what is it you want to be able to, with conviction and confidence, teach a new launch, somebody that you've invited to be a part of your team? What do you want to be able to show them that they can do? And that's the power of being a leader. It's called EXAMPLE. And so we decided 300 was ours. So what's your blueprint? On our team, the standard blueprint is 150. Why, you may ask? Because that's where all the money flows, right? Bronze, all the bronze foundation, bronze builder, what is required? 150, right? That's where it starts. And so that's our team standard. Is it a rule? No, it's a standard. 150 a month on the first, on ditto. That's just how we roll. That's how we order. And that's really what we know is predictable. Anybody can figure that out. Anybody can do that. And that's what we're really proud of. I know I can teach anybody in any situation to do 150. So when someone receives an invitation to the team, we get them launched and we say, all right, let's do this. You pick your blueprint based on your budget, how much your personal use is gonna be, and also the idea of getting 60 or more percent VCS. So the rest is just VCS. So let's just do an example of 150 PV. Someone says, that's my blueprint. That's what I'm gonna be able to teach anybody else to do. You know what? We teach them, let's just start your ditto with this. Something to eat, something to drink, and a supplement, right? That's gonna be about 50 points. What's gonna be in the rest of that ditto? Samples, things they know they can sell, things they know that they can sample out, that they can let people try. And that is the power. You hear about intentional sampling? That's what we do. It's that simple. No big deal. So when someone launches, first of all, they're not paying any registration fee. You guys realize that, right? That's incredible because it just frees up more investment for them to actually create more client base, to create more VCS, which is so powerful. Then they have the optional launch kit, which has a pretty good sampling of things. The starter stack, a pretty good broad array of items that they can really get started with, but things that people haven't experienced with immediately. And that's what I like. And so they get that starter kit and they can start trying stuff, but more importantly, they can start sampling. And whenever they went through that process to be vetted, they've already tried some things, by the way. Hopefully they've already tried some excess. They're already addicted to Energy Plus Focus. You know what I mean? Like, we've already started them on a path of habits, right? And then they know exactly what they want to order. They've probably already been looking at things. They know what they want to try. They know what they want to do. And that's good, okay? That's what we want. But whenever they start doing that, we just encourage, you know what? What is it you love? What is it you think you can sample? What kind of things do people have an immediate experience with? Excess. Name some things. Gummies. Sleep health. Sleep health has a horrible smell, but it so works. You know what I mean? What else? Muscle multiplier, I heard. Yeah. Pre-workout. That's immediate. Anybody take that the first time and you were just like, am I allergic to this? So yeah, there's so many things that people can have an immediate experience with. And you know what? They've already, in that process of being educated about what it takes to own a business, they've already made a list. They've already made a list of at least 50 people who are in established households over the age of 40. Have you ever done that? Have you made that list? I hope you have. If you haven't, make that list. Or did you make it and forget about it? Why are we making a list of 50 people who are in established households over the age of 40? Well, that sounds boring. Because established households have predictable buying patterns. Because when you sample them something and they love it, it's likely they're gonna go for something quality that really benefits them and they're gonna keep buying it. Those are called established households. They have patterns, they have good habits, they're easier to serve. And honestly, they're outside that zone of someone typically who's really looking for opportunity. So as I'm learning to communicate about the other side of my business and sponsoring, I don't wanna practice sampling to people who could potentially be a part of my team. This is just Hunter and I. This is the way we want to do it. We don't want to confuse them. Because honestly, that 19-year-old who's really looking for a way to get ahead, if you sample in excess, do you think he'll start buying 3 cases a month? No, because he couldn't even pay for the one you gave him. You know what I mean? Right? But what is he looking for? He's looking for growth, for a way to get ahead financially. So we put them on a different list. Does this make sense? Okay, y'all got to give me some more than that, more than yeah. Okay, good. This is helpful. And so once they've made that list, we've got an attack plan, right? We know exactly who our target market is. Those 50 people over the age of 40 with these samples that we have, who is going to turn down a sample? Then it's just about starting and leading conversations, asking good questions. Hey, would you be open to trying something? Hey, did you know I have access to certain brands that, when you buy from me, it benefits me? And if you like it, great, no big deal, but would you be willing to try some things? Could I get a chance to earn your business? asking questions. Would you be open to trying a few things? Can I get your opinion about this pre-workout? Or using it in front of people. Has anybody ever had this happen where you're putting a twist tube in a drink at a restaurant and somebody asks, what's that? Yeah. Or you're putting your pre-workout in your water and people ask, what's that? Or if you're Matsumoto, you dry scoop everything and people go, wow, what's that? So just lots of muscle multiplier. And I think that's powerful. Right? But it's still personal use and it's gonna get noticed, right? No matter how you do this, it's gonna get noticed. And but that's a good thing because people are gonna ask you about it and you didn't even have to interrupt them. You just did that in front of them. And that's what's so cool. Man, that's why we do switch a little bit of our buying to our own brands, right? Because people are wondering, they're watching you. They know what you're using. And if you're using something from your own business, they're gonna ask about it. And it's gonna create conversations and lead to purchases. And that is so powerful. So yeah, buying some of our own stuff matters. And then getting that ditto set, that team standard of 150 PV, when? Not the 17th? Well, what about I don't really get paid until the end of the month. I could really set it at 26. The 26th of the month would really help me more. Play that out. Play that out. An entire business where all of your business that comes in is the last 4 to 5 days of the month. Is that a good business? What if nobody ever went to buy their $5 coffee ever until the last 4 days of the month? Think about your local coffee shop. Nobody's there all month long. And the last 4 days, everybody goes and buys coffee. That doesn't make sense. And that's a terrible business model. And it doesn't even follow people's habits. So I want to have stuff on hand. That's why I want to order an extra case of excess. That's why I want to do the rest of my standard with extra things that I know that people are going to want to try. Why? Because when I sample that excess to the lady that's never had an energy drink, she's always been drinking diet soda, and then she's like, wow, this is amazing. I've been looking for something like this. Where do I get it? I don't have to say this. Oh, well, how do you want to pay? Because I'll place an order and it'll be here in 12 days. I want to say, you know what? Give me $40. I got a case right here. I'll get you started, and then we'll get you set up as a registered customer, right? You want to have it on hand, and you want to be able to give it to them immediately so they can start enjoying something that they've decided they liked immediately. You guys know, after 12 days goes by, do you even remember what something tasted like? You don't even remember. And that's just not even fair. It's just not smart business. So yeah, we bring that in on the first. We sample things and we go ahead and move it immediately and make buying super easy, super easy. You guys understand that most big companies are trying to feel smaller and more quaint, right? The biggest asset you have is you. The biggest asset you have is you. People love buying from you, or they love what you have, and they love that personal service, and they love the idea that someone cares about sampling to them and letting them try new things and getting their opinion and their feedback on it. That's why there's all these you buy something anywhere and then you get a survey request, right? They want you to talk about it, tell them what you thought about it. Your personal touch, your personal service, it matters. And you know what? You have one of the biggest assets that the largest companies can't figure out how to get. And that's you in a personal relationship with a customer. They can't figure out how to do it. And so don't quit starting to think that you're small, that it doesn't matter. You have something, it's a legitimate business, and you have really good products that people want. Okay, let's get into this. When you start sampling and people start buying and you have that product on hand, and you start working through that list of established households and learning how to uncover people with needs and getting good products. Do you need to know everything about every product? No, I want to tell you this, you don't need. Do not sit and study the website about all the products. You don't have to know everything. Has anybody ever done that where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sit down with this lady and she wants to know about supplements. And so I'm going to learn about the organic farming process of Nutrilite company. And then I'm going to look at all the risks and benefits of every product. And then, oh, by the way, on the back of the bottle, it says, check with your physician first. So I'm definitely going to have a concierge doctor on hold and ready to answer any questions about this product in case they have any interest in it. We can complicate the simplest of things. The power of a catalog, The power of a digital catalog is amazing. The power of saying, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but I know someone who does, and I'm gonna find out for you. That's powerful. And then just letting somebody try something. So here's what I encourage the people on our team that have a standard. They have a standard of 150 a month, of predictable volume coming in on the first, and product that they can move and sample now, and things that they can use in front of people. I say find 5 things that you love and you can use in front of people and you can talk about anywhere. So for me, that's the Energy Plus Focus. I love the rhodiola. I've seen so many benefits from it. I mean, you can be like slapped, laid out, tired on the couch, and in 15 minutes, you'll get up and start cleaning the whole house after you take one, like a half of one of those. And the double X, I love the double X, and the perfect pack. Just something that strong and that powerful. You know, I have a new concierge doctor, and she used to be an Amway IBO. And she said, I loved that business. I just never treated it like one. But I'm telling you, I've tried all the best supplements across the country that I can get my hands on, and there's nothing like double X. Can I start ordering it again? Can I start ordering it again? That's powerful. And she just told me, and she was referred to me by someone on my team, so now like our whole team's going to her. But she said, I started taking that and I have never felt better. Like, I'm so thankful I got back on double X. That's a powerful story, right? Excess is another one that I think is fabulous as far as like just an instant experience that you can have with something. The fact that it's sugar-free and that someone who maybe cares about their sugar intake can enjoy this and have a benefit. Vitamin C and HA is awesome. And I love that it's used up every 30 days because the vitamin C in it dies, you know, it's live vitamin C. That's a powerful skincare product. And you know what? People see an instant result from it when they decide to order it and use it. And the protein bars taste like candy bars. They're awesome. That's something that anybody can try. In fact, my brother-in-law came over and I gave him one of Hunter's chocolate berry protein bars, and now they're disappearing out of the cabinet because every time he stops by the house, he grabs a couple. Sorry, Hunter. And he loves those. Like, no one's allowed to touch his bars. You know, the boys, no, you can't have my bars. But those are so good, you know? Our protein bars are phenomenal. So what are your things? What are your 5 things that you can use in front of people and take out anywhere? Is it a twist tube? What is it? And those are the things that we can start easily starting conversations around and sampling, okay? All right. So something to eat, something to drink, a supplement, and the rest, samples and sell, baby. Is that simple? I think that's simple. All right, let's talk about a little bit of principles, and I want to get some people up here. Guidelines. We do not encourage people to spam on social media because your list is on social media too. And, you know, I want people to understand that what I have is very personal and it's very awesome. Is there a way to sell product on social media? Absolutely. But I think private conversations are more powerful than a bunch of spamming or sales or anything like that. And so guidelines on our team, we're not like spamming. And I don't want to see your before and after picture for the new year of you and your Speedo and then how much you lost. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to see that. And so another thing, we don't enjoy sending people directly to the site. It's not fair. That site is huge. You get lost in it. It's complex. I want to be the personal touch because there's a lot of websites that you can go to and buy stuff, but I'm unique. You're unique. And you can serve them better than just a random search function on a website can. You know what? Let's start developing a friendship and a relationship by serving someone well and practicing those interpersonal skills through VCS. Another thing is to make it simple and easy for someone to buy. That's why having product on hand is very helpful because it's so simple. They can just pay you and it's done. Make it simple at first. Don't make them sit there 20 minutes while you learn how to register a customer, right? You can do that off when they're not sitting in front of you. You can get the information and register them and get it handled without making them sit and wait. And so we encourage you, just make it simple. Don't make it complex. Just make it easy to buy. And then practice. Asking good questions. Practice, practice, practice. You know, one of my favorite books that covers a lot of these principles about creating customer loyalty and predictability in my business so that I can go just be free to be creative with my business and I don't worry about it. I don't stress about it. I don't think about VCS. I'm not freaking out about hitting my numbers at the end of the month. It's just done on the first. One of the books I love about that is about customer loyalty. It's called How to Win Customers and Keep Them for Life. If there's any left, they're in that the tool room over there, okay? That is an excellent manual if you'll take it seriously and actually read that and apply it in your own personal business. I've got some people I want to bring up, okay? So help me welcome up Tyler Cook, Kyle Swinger, Jordan Madkins, Stefan and Cassie Henry, Lisa Fry, Philip and Atara, Damian Black, Justin and Tabitha, and Jack and Emily. Y'all run. Perfect. Aren't they looking good? Yeah. Okay. So sorry about the long standing. And I know we're missing some people, but they'll figure it out. So what we're going to do is each of these individuals were hand selected because their upline recommended them. And they have created predictability in their business and profitability, meaning their business pays for itself. They have all that figured out and they don't stress about client volume. Like it just happens. Doesn't that sound like a dream? It just happens. First of every month, second of every month, maybe by the 15th. They're done. They're at 70%, whatever it is. And so I want each of them to share with you very, very briefly for 2 minutes about their experience and what they've learned, okay? It's gonna be super fast, super fast. And then when they're done, you've seen them up here. Now you've profiled them. You can target them in the bathroom and ask them all kinds of questions next to the urinal or whatever it is you wanna do, you guys. And so, but I think they're fantastic examples about creating predictable VCS and learning lessons and just doing the work and not being afraid to do it wrong. So if you let me start, we'll just start on this end. Justin, Tabitha, why don't you guys start? Come on up here and introduce yourselves and roll with it, okay?
We are Justin and Tabitha Bowers. We're personally sponsored by Hunter and Vanessa Lindsay. My husband has a background as a nurse, and I've got a background as a nanny. So I'll tell you just like briefly where we started was very unpredictable. If we did 300 PV, it was probably on the last day of the month. We were very salesy. If we created a client, it was likely they're not going to buy again. And a lot of the sales we had to recreate every single month. But luckily, we learned a lot through our growing upline, Hunter and Vanessa, and the books that are recommended. My favorite was Referral of a Lifetime. That one was phenomenal for me. We learned that we really needed to get good at asking questions to uncover true needs and also to really become less selfish and to be more others focused.
That's great. So she told you what we did or what we learned. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about what we did and the results that we got. We did really two things. One being we tried to add value to others instead of trying to get something from somebody. You know, trying to get a sale or create some volume. We really tried to add value to others. And then the second thing that we did is we grew ears to hear. Instead of talking so much, we started listening a bit more so that we could ask those right questions and actually partner right products with right people. And as a result, our volume's nowhere like what Tabitha had mentioned. It changed drastically. We have over 22 ordering clients, 10 of which order every month, 7 of which are on day one ditto. And on day one, we have about 325 PV, 200 of which is VCS. And by the end of the month, we average about 450 PV, with 325 of that being VCS, which is 60% on the first and roughly 70% or more at the end of the month.
Well done. No more chasing people. Philip and Atara.
Hi, Atara Abdullah Muhammad Smith and Philip Smith, sponsored by Merson Jonathan Vecchio. I have a background in nonprofit management. He has a background in finance. So when we started our business, I did not understand what good sales looked like. I also didn't understand how to connect with people. And so when we started learning how to start and lead conversations, I started figuring out how do I actually serve people and add value, like what you guys are saying. And then we also figured out who was actually a good client or an ideal client for our business, because not everybody is. And so we studied things like the customer experience, where we got to tailor that journey for our clients. And so we write handwritten thank you letters for their purchase. We explain a little bit about why we started our business so they can be a part of our story, and we cross-sample. And so that way we're exposing them to more product. And then when we notice patterns of buying, we can actually have that conversation around maybe Ditto's a good fit for you.
Yeah, same thing. So I just had a negative perspective on what it meant to sell products. So I remember just making that mindset shift. We were really thankful to be part of an environment where we can plug into a weekly training and learn how this team decides to sell product. And so just making that shift of how can I go out and instead of thinking, how can I sell somebody a product, how can I go out and establish what are their priorities, what are they looking to accomplish? Because once I know what they want, all we have to do is connect them with a product that I genuinely think can help them. So what we've seen from that is roughly around 450 to 500 points of PV a month. And we have, that's not my notes.
That's not your notes.
Yeah, they're not
Those are my notes.
But we, for the,
I'm gonna take this back.
I can't
Melon.
even read that. But
My notes.
we were averaging right around 6 clients on day one ditto a month. We bumped it up to 8 this past month, which is really cool. And 60% on day one. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Good job. Pass it on to the next. You guys can sit down. You don't have to stay up here. You guys don't.
I'm Kyle Swingler, personally sponsored by Tim and Marianne Nickerson out of Indianapolis. I am 28 years old. I am single, and I work as a field technician for an environmental company.
Okay.
So for me, volume did not start out very good. 6 months in, I was at a whopping 60 PV. So going into my first summit, I was struggling a lot. And from that first summit, I went to the new IBO experience, and what I learned there really simplified everything for me. So I decided to use what we learned as the 2 skills and really simplify it and just focus on intentionally sampling and get 1 to 2 new customers every single month. And throughout the next 6 to 12 months, I was able to develop about 18 customers, and now I currently have 6 customers that order every single month, 20 customers registered, 2 customers that are always on day one ditto, and I'm averaging around 65% every month, ending between 320 and 350 with my PV.
Where did you find your customers?
What?
Where did you find your customers? Are they people you already knew, or are they just
A
new
couple
connections?
of people that I already knew, but most of them were brand new connections because my family did not like what I was doing. My mom was like, I tried that business 40 years ago. And I was like, keyword, tried. Thank you.
Okay, good. And so just out and about, at the gym, at work, is that where you found them?
Yes. Okay. And so some audios that helped me, I really love Grutwald, so it was Keep the Money in the Family, and 10 Seconds of Courage helped out a lot as well. And a good book for me was In a Pit with a Lion on the Snowy Day.
Very good. All right, next. Come on up. Good job.
Hey guys, I am Tyler Cook, personally sponsored and coached by the incredible Platinum Going Ruby and Beyond, Jason McBride out of Charlotte. Got a background in logistics, and yeah, Core 300 was definitely an intentional bout. Started out my business as a 5150, just kind of resident there for a while, and then realized that once I have a team coming on, I don't want the blueprint to be 150. I'd rather it be a Core 300, if not above, and I can't help somebody do something I haven't done. So had to sit down with Jason, get intentional, get into a game plan, and he showed me how to get into a stable Core 300, and it was just as simple as going home, seeing value with my roommate. He was getting some products from Brand X, in the gym, and, asked him what the results he was looking to get out of those products was, and he told me. And of course, we have better products to offer for, competitive rates. So got him switched over, and then after probably about a month and a half, 2 months of him being on Slimetry and Carb Blocker, his dad saw the changes in his face and just overall health, and now him and his dad are both day one ditto customers. After having the conviction from having my customer volume, just solidified, it's helped me prospect better out in the marketplace, talk to higher, quality people, sharper individuals, doctors and therapists, whereas before I was talking to, just any old retail worker, just kind of checking it off the box that day.
Somebody who's trapped and has to be nice to you.
Exactly. It's like, haha, I got one today. But no, so customer volume is definitely a lot more than just having VCS in the office. It definitely gives you the confidence to build a proper business. And some audios that definitely helped me along the way is Customer Experience by Tyler Sheridan, because I lived that myself with a nutrition shop back at home and never even realized why I was so dedicated to that shop until I heard that audio, and then it clicked. And another great audio is definitely just the treasures within to understand why we do the 9 core. And that's just really what's helped me unlock it.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Aren't these great examples? By the way, I love the Carb Blocker and the Slimetry because those are great monthly products when people actually take them. And I've seen and I've been using it. I've seen amazing results and heard amazing results. So I think those were great. I'm glad you mentioned those. All right, next.
Awesome. So my name is Jordan Madkins. I'm personally sponsored by Zach Bentley. So what I do during the day, I'm just an implementation consultant at a software company. So my customer business, just about all the volume in my business goes through on the first day of the month, with the two exceptions being either new customers or new Amway products. And the way that I do that, because the challenge that I had when I first started my business was customers ordering consistently. They would maybe order once, but I wouldn't follow up with them, or they wouldn't reach back out to me, which your customers are not going to reach back out to you, so you need to follow up with them. So what I do now when I have customers, I set the expectation with them from the beginning. So right or wrong, they just don't know any better that all orders in my business go through on the first of the month. So all of my customers are either on their own Ditto or they are on my Ditto, and I hand deliver to them. And because of that, now I don't have to think about my customer volume. I do it about an hour a week before the month. I spend about an hour setting up my Ditto, their Ditto. I reach out to them, I follow up with them, and they know to expect my call. They know what I'm reaching out about. And so they're prepared with their order as well. And so I don't have to think about my volume, and I can spend that time with the other creative aspects of my business.
What's your blueprint? Are you 300?
Yeah, so I'm at least 300 day one. Most months I'm anywhere from 300 to 450, just depending on how many customers and how much they order each month.
Very good. You guys hear this example? How free he is to think about other things? Good job. Isn't that fun? Not having to give chase. Did you hear this? Did you hear expectations? He set expectations. And we get what we expect, don't we? Yeah. All right, next.
Damian Black, personally sponsored by Roger and Roxanne Holt on the Holt EDC team out of Orlando, Florida. I have a background as a dentist specializing in prosthodontics, so that's fake teeth that look natural. And I launched my business 7 months ago, and it started out a little bit rough. Started out not really knowing how to make sales, make VCS, but with associating with my team and learning different tips and tricks to find customers and to sample, I got really fanatical with sampling and following up with customers or potential customers and figuring out what their needs were, listening out for needs. And I got a lot of customers at the office that I work at, and they saw me using something, they wanted to try it, they tried it, and then they came back a few days later wanting to buy more. And what really helped my business grow a little bit more was around the holidays, I was hearing about different tips and tricks that other business owners were using for Black Friday special, for example, because every company out there seems like they have a Black Friday special going on around Thanksgiving. So I tried something myself and increased my VCS for the month of November, which helped me increase my VCS for the month of December, which was my best month. And so ever since September, I started seeing my VCS grow little by little and staying core 300, and then even getting more VCS since September through December. So that was my trick.
How many ordering clients do you have on a regular basis?
A regular basis, at least 5, and total about 13 customers that have ordered from me. Good. And my best customers, of course, are the ones at my office because I see them every day and I can always sample something to them and cross-sample.
That's great. Well done. Thank you very much. Yeah. You're up next.
All right. Well, y'all are sweet. Hey, guys. Well, Vanessa, if this is where the wisdom is stored, I'm going to take this.
He actually went blank when he looked at it. Remember? He was like, that's, yeah.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Cassie Henry, part of the Stefan and Cassie Henry, who is a new U.S. citizen. Woo! We are from Anderson, South Carolina. We are blessed to be on the Jason McBride team and honored to be coached and mentored by Joe and Mary Beth Markowitz. During the day, Stefan does medical research. I'm a stay-at-home mom. We have 3 kids, 10, 5, and 3. Abby, CK, and Josie are their names. And when we started our business, I have a background as a retail manager, and sales were always easy for me. It's something that came very natural. However, when you're in a brick and mortar business, customers come through your doors. And when we started our Amway business, I had to now go to the customers, take my store to them. And initially what I would do is I would fill these big sample bags whenever I had a family event, friends over for dinner, play dates. I would take a big sample bag and just give it to them. And I would cross my fingers and hope that they would tell me how wonderful these products were and that they wanted to order everything in the bag. But it never happened, right? And yes, so through associating at events like this, through trainings with the Lindsay team, my local info session, through talking with my upline, through reading books and listening to audios like The Customer Experience or Crushing VCS or Go for No is a great book, I began to really understand that to create loyal customers, I first had to find the need. I second had to fill that need with a sample, and I third had to follow up. So I have a recent excess customer who I saw just drinking a brand X energy drink. Asked her, was she brand loyal? She said no. I asked her, are you open to trying an energy drink? She said yes. I sampled her an excess energy drink. I asked her, would you mind if I follow up with you in about 3 days to see how you like that energy drink? She said absolutely. 3 days later, I sent her a text. Hey, how did you like the energy drink? I loved it. Okay, wonderful. So we got her registered as a customer, and now she's a regularly monthly ordering customer and also making referrals for us. So Stefan and I, we average around 10 ordering customers a month. Our personal circle is around 500 PV, with about 300 of that coming from customers, with over half of that on day one ditto, and we have about 68% VCS. So thank you guys.
Well done. That's awesome. That's helpful.
What's that?
We are Kevin and Lisa Fry, and we are mentored by the Joe and Mary Beth Markowitz, and we own a technology and process consulting company in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm going to start with my stats and work back because what's coming is the most important stuff. We service about 10 to 15 customers a month, and those rotate. Some are monthly. We have 300 PV that goes through on the first at a minimum, and a large percentage of that is VCS, but because we end the month with about 1,000 personal circle with 60% VCS, it's kind of an ongoing process through the month. But the one thing I do is I make sure that we don't have the weight of zero, because we always have something in our virtual office every day of the month, because that gets weighty mentally as a business owner when you have a zero in your virtual office. We always met the PV goal for 50 PV, but what stretched us to stretch our customer capacity was when we had to hit 60% VCS, when you're doing about 800 to 1,000 PV. So these are 4 quick things that we did. I got consistent. Facts don't lie. So I have a note on my phone, and every day I put a date down, and my goal is to have something on that date that I've done with a customer. And when there's nothing there, I don't like how that looks. But you can't lie to yourself when you're tracking. I sampled with intention. I don't just hand out samples thinking I'm being a business owner. I only give those to people, and I try to get a commitment up front. If I'm sampling to you, are you willing to buy this if you like it? If you don't, no big deal, but I'm not just gonna hand out things for free. It's not a ministry. I provide value, which is me. I don't send people to the website to register. They usually won't. I often do it for them and let them know what's gonna happen. I always get their permission so that they can confirm their account. A lot of my customers are family, friends, and my neighbors, people that know me. I walk the neighborhood, harass my neighbors. Sometimes they harass me, but I always have products on hand. So I keep in stock what I know people need, so that when my neighbor calls and says, hey, Lisa, I need some vitamin D, I don't have to say like Vanessa did, oh, by the way, I need to put an order in. Can you wait 12 days? I always have a backup that I can give to them that day if they need it. And I never want them to pay shipping. I'll add, usually a lot of my orders go through my order. And what's happened is, it's resulted in not just loyal customers, but loyal friends that know that I care about them because I'm authentic with them, and they know that I care about their well-being. And so they share what I have to offer with other people, which also expands my customer base.
Well done. Think about that. We talked about blueprint. Think about 1,000 PV blueprint. That would be an incredible blueprint. How many people you need on your team to hit the top of that scale? 7.5, right? Even a half human would work in that case. And so I think that's incredible. Okay, last one.
Hi, we are Jack and Emily Finley. We are personally sponsored by Hunter Vanessa Lindsay. We're out of Chattanooga. Jack is in risk management. I have a background as a physical therapist. I worked and ran outpatient clinics for 7 years, but now I'm at home with 3 kids. So when we got started in business and started having conversations around products, we quickly realized that our family was not going to be super supportive at first, mainly because they didn't understand why we were doing something outside of our career. And then our friends were really stuck up, which was a really interesting reality. And so it exposed some things, honestly, exposed in me. I had never built the skill set of actually building genuine relationships. And so when I went to have conversations with people, they felt that, and they really felt that I was just using them to buy products. That might have turned into a one-time sympathy buy, or, one-time buy and ghosting. And so I would often go to Vanessa very frustrated and realized through those conversations that I had some work to do personally. And she pointed me to some people skills books. First of all, working on how to build relationships, Friendship Factor. Also, Wired That Way was helpful to just really understand people in general. And so once we started to really work on that and how to pour into people, being able to celebrate them, send them cards, as far as like reaching out to clients and sending them cards, having lunch with them, it really changed the traction in our business, and our family started to understand a little bit more of what we were doing, and Jack's gonna talk about that.
Simply put, we traded a hobby for a business. My dad was a business owner, and he respected businesses, but he didn't respect hobbies. So when they saw the elevation of our conviction, they started to buy into that. The second thing that we started doing was, instead of having the fear of man, we traded that fear for a heart of serving. 0-100 Principle, it's an excellent book. It taught us how to give people without looking for expectations of return. Her and Vanessa started teaching us about the law of attraction. We were stuck up. That's why we had stuck up friends. So we had to trade that and actually get out there and start serving people and start thinking about others other than ourselves. The law of attraction. So we started attracting quality clients. The last thing that we started doing was, because of those things, because of those results, we started digging into everything. And today we have a 1,000-point personal circle. We run 450 on the first, with 250 of that being VCS. We have 10 to 15 regular ordering clients every single month, 10 on the first every single month. And we don't even think about client volume anymore.
Have you had a couple people quit?
Yes.
Tell me about them. Tell me what that resulted in as far as your volume.
So Kyle and Austin talked about they were learning these skills, then they ran those 75 plans. We were learning the law of attraction and the 0-100% principle while people were quitting. So we were going all in for people, and they left. But they saw the seed so well, they said, hey, look, we'd like to support you guys. I said, you don't have to, because we're going to run regardless. They said, no, we really want to. And so we set them up. We built relationships with them. They're regular ordering clients and ditto clients. And then we started getting referrals from their old past clients. Because just because people quit doesn't mean that their clients still want things to be ordered. So we got in depth through VCS and was able to get clients to that part as well.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Good job. Okay. Last thing I'll say, just like everything else, just like the other side of your business, this requires an activity goal. You heard people talking about, there was a process. They were learning while they were working, right? They were reading while they were doing. They were doing it wrong while they were learning. They were learning from all their mistakes. They were learning from, sitting down with people and them feeling used, right? Or talking to the wrong people, or talking to people that weren't ideal for their business, going to the client instead of waiting for the client to come to them. And so what I'd encourage you to do is not focus necessarily on the result. Yes, pick your blueprint, and your blueprint is that day one blueprint, right? What you know is coming in at the beginning of the month. It's going to create peace for the rest of the month for you to build your business. Choose what you think is what is ideal for you. Talk to your upline about it, and then attach an activity goal to that, right? Sampling or mentioning or using a product in front of someone every day, whatever that looks like for you, okay? Attach an activity, an action plan to that, something that you can do and you believe you can do, okay? That's the key here. Choose something that you and your upline can agree upon that you actually believe you can do. Not the result, but the activity, because that's where all the learning is, and that's really where all the profit is just the activity, okay? Thanks very much for the time.
For existing IBOs only, not for use with prospects. The success depicted in this profile may reflect income from sources other than Amway, such as earnings from the sale of training and education materials or other businesses and investments. While the techniques and approaches suggested have worked for others, no one can guarantee that these techniques and approaches will work for you. In addition, we want to emphasize that success in this business does not come without hard work.